Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1998 Arizona Diamondbacks Revisionist History. Earlier today, we wrapped up the month of June with a 9-4 victory over the Brew Crew, and at the end of every month, we do a supplementary video just like this one where we take a look at the standings, the league leaders, and in this case, we'll take a look at the players that we may consider trading because the trading deadline comes up, as you can see here, at the end of July, July 31st. We move ahead to the month of July, and there you have it. We've got one more game to play against the Brewers and then a day off. We have 6 games on the road, and then we have the All-Star break, which will entail a home run derby, which is the first time that we've ever done a home run derby, and it's just a statistical compilation. We don't actually visually see anything happening, but we will play the All-Star game, which in 1998 took place at Coors Field in Colorado. So we have that coming up on the docket here in the upcoming week or 10 days. Additionally, as you know, we do have a giveaway going on. It's going to take place tomorrow on Sunday, and I would be remiss in this video if I didn't, at least mention it. So be a subscriber and let me know in the comments that you want in. It's totally free. We have 13 contestants as of right now, and if we can get 2 more ducks entered into the duck race, we'll have 15, and I will add a 5th place prize. If you're not familiar with what we do here, as far as the giveaways go, they're totally free. Just be a subscriber, and you can enter, and you'll have a chance to win some really great prizes. The prizes are available here on the YouTube community page if you want to check them out, or click the Facebook link below, and you can check out the prizes on our Facebook page. Okay, so in this video, as I mentioned, we're going to take a look at the standings, the league leaders, and then the trade candidates, possibly anyway. Nothing is written in stone, but we will at least begin with the standings. And I find it a little bit fascinating that Atlanta has traded themselves right out of the lead. We're approaching the halfway point. Tomorrow's game 80. So we're right around the halfway point. And Montreal has now jumped ahead with a 1-game lead in the East. Over Atlanta, a 3-game lead over Florida, who won the World Series in 1997. The Mets are under 500, and so is Philadelphia. So I find that kind of fascinating that Montreal has put together a good run here. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they've garnered the lead in the East. And it's good to, at least at the halfway point, if you're in contention, then at least you have a chance, right? I mean, like, you're in the stretch run, regardless of what happens through injuries or trades, you feel like you at least have a chance. And we look at the Central. We've just won 3 consecutive games versus Milwaukee, and now they're 1.5 up on Chicago. Milwaukee still should be considered the class of the Central. Houston, they've traded away enough players that I think they're probably going to, fall away. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Cincinnati, who has the worst record in all of baseball, are already, I think, done for the season. And then we look at the West with San Francisco, a 2-game lead over the Dodgers, San Diego, Colorado, and then we are 10 games back after winning 3 in a row versus the Brew Crew, and we're going to play them tomorrow to wrap up the 4-game series at home before we have a day off and we go on the road. I find it a little bit interesting that although we are now below the National League average in batting average, we're still above average in home runs, and we are actually above average in stolen bases. So offensively, we're a solid team. I don't think that the offense is our problem. We have traded away players that have expiring contracts from our offense, but we've supplemented the trades with players who I think will help us long term. And although they may not be contributing as much as we'd hope for right now, I think we have a solid future as an expansion team here in 1998. Let's take a look at the American League real quick. There we go. Now, New York has jumped on top. They've won a couple in a row. I find New York and excuse me, in New York and Boston, in every sim season that we do, we'll always find a way to get to the top of the East. They're going to battle it out to the end. I have no idea who's going to win that division. It's a coin flip every time. Toronto, Tampa, and Baltimore are just visiting. In the Central, the Indians, the 1998 Cleveland Indians, who were in the World Series in 97, they have the best record in all of baseball. They've won 8 in a row. They've made some crafty trades and have rounded out their team. They've got average, they've got power, they've got stolen bases, and they are probably the best team by far in the American League, statistically. Kansas City is just holding on for hope. Everybody else is out of it. And Anaheim, which is a team that I just don't understand. They are ahead by 3 games over Seattle, but they've taken their entire roster that we started with back in April, right out of spring training, and they've traded so many players. And they've cycled through contracts that are long-term deals, expensive deals, and players who are older, and they've made some really bad decisions, and yet we find them competing at the top of the division. I think they deserve to be looked at, so we're going to do that really quick. They just traded their third baseman, and now Troy Gloss is going to get everyday gameplay. Tony Gwynn is now going to be the right fielder. They traded for him, and he is in a platoon with Tim Salmon, who should be an everyday player. Both of them should be. They traded for Mark Grace. They traded for Roberto Alomar. It's ridiculous the things that they've done to attempt to get better. There's Wade Boggs in AAA. And they've got Dave Hollins and Big Daddy Cecil Fielder. They've certainly got depth, but you don't see the overall home run power here. I don't know how their season is going to end up, but because they've traded so many players, as we look at the finances here, you'll see that they're still planned to lose around $9.5 million. But every trade they've done, they've also forced the team that they're trading with to throw in some cash money. And because of that, now they have more money, more liquidity than any other team in the American League. So they're going to lose money, but they've, improved their roster, in my opinion, by getting a lot of big names, and they've also, banked up some cash. So you got to give them credit for that. Let's go back to the standings here really quick. Seattle, they're a 500 team. I have no idea with Junior Griffey if they're any good. Oakland and Texas are just living in that world. But you look at the American League batting average, home runs, and stolen bases. The batting average and home runs are better than the National League. Stolen bases are not. But the teams that seem to have more power are at the top of the lineups. The team with the most home runs in the American League, the White Sox, don't really have much of a chance. So I just wanted to take a moment here and look at the standings. I think the next thing that we should do as we cycle through here to the National League is I think it's important for us to take a moment and look at our roster and look at the players who are arbitration eligible at the end of the year. Let's go and take a look here at sortable stats. And we're going to spread it out so we can look at contracts. Now, we've pretty much either traded or cut everybody on our team who was in the final year of their major league contract. So now what we have to worry about is players who are arbitration eligible in 1998. You'll see here that we traded for Pudge, who's got a 3.1 WAR. Fantastic. We traded for Andy Benez, who's on a really long-term deal. Bernard Gilkey was already on the team. We have him through next year. Jay Bell, who's got a negative WAR. We've got him for 4 more years. And Matt Williams, we have for 4 more years. Then we have our 3 arbitration-eligible players here in 1998. Pettit, we traded for. Bobby, looking pretty good. And Mike Hampton. Higgy, we will sign long-term. If we look at Higgy, he's only 27 years old. And in Major League Baseball, 27 years old is typically the year that you have your breakout season, which he is doing right now. He's in the top 10 in batting average, with a 330 batting average for the D-backs. And second on the team in RBI, a 417 on-base percentage. Defensively, the game is sort of insulting his skill set. I mean, he's got an 88 rating, but he's made so many errors. And that's a little bit frustrating. But you know what? I will accept an occasional error for what he offers at the plate. And also Bobby Higginson was the only good Tigers player in this era, other than Tony Clark, I guess. So we're going to be happy to re-sign him to a long-term deal at a bigger rate. The problem that we have, and I'm not sure it's a bad problem. I mean, it's an either-or kind of situation. We've got Mike Hampton, who we traded for, also arbitration eligible at the end of the year. And he has just been so predictably good. And that's the one thing that I like about Baseball Mogul, is when I start a pitcher, I want to know what I'm going to get from him. He's 25 years old. He's a lefty in his 6th season. And you know what? He brings stability to the number 2 spot in the rotation. So I want to sign him to a long-term deal. And we probably will. I mean, we can't negotiate right now, but at some point we will be able to. And when we do, I will pay him a handsome raise, knowing that I think he can help us out. Now, our problem is Andy Pettit, who, despite his steroid use, his admitted steroid use in real life, had a great career, and also, you know, in our sim, has been a little bit of a struggle until his last 2 starts. Look at his log. He's won his last 2 starts for us, and he hasn't given up a run in 14 innings. So, who is the real Andy Pettit? Is he the guy that gave up 10 runs against Texas, or is he someone who is capable of giving us 6 or 7 innings and keeping us in the ball game? I'm inclined at the moment, even though he's only 26, to maybe trade him at the trade deadline, because we are in a position where we can't give long-term contracts to everybody. You know, we are under contract for multiple years to Pudge, to Benez, to Bernard Gilkey, you know, Jay Bell, who's a albatross at this point, and Matt Williams is entering the later years of his career. So, if we were to sign both of those pitchers to long-term deals, we're going to have to get rid of Matt Williams. We certainly need to get rid of Bell or Gilkey. And, you know, we could sign them to long-term deals, the 2 pitchers, now. And then in the off-season, you know, we'll accumulate our losses monetarily now, but maybe try to either cut Gilkey, who after the calendar flips will be in his final year, and we'll owe him $2.5 million after the 98 season to cut him if we can't trade him. But we are still on the hook for Jay Bell. So, I mean, we should try to trade Bell, get whatever we can for him, and then just go with some schlub at shortstop. Looking at the rest of the players on the roster beyond the players who are making over $1 million, any of these guys could be tradable. I'm not tethered to anyone. I do like the potential of Geraldo Guzman, who had a good game today, in relief. I think he could fill a starting position and be successful, but right now it's too early to tell if he's got the skills with a Z. So there you go. I just wanted to take a moment. Hopefully you can pause it here and look at the stats and other information if you're curious. Otherwise, we're going to move on here and take a look at players who are available as free agents, because we are at the halfway point and teams have started to cut players. As we click on peak and we look at players who, like this Juvenal Ibarra, who was an unsigned free agent with a peak of 96. I mean, come on. Is that a real legit stat? I don't think so. But you can see these are players from the 98 draft that we did not sign, and they are available. If we click overall, we're going to get players who are more likely to be able to contribute. Like there's Jack Howell. We already got rid of Andy Fox this year. Scrolling on down, Carlos Garcia, a second baseman from Pittsburgh who got cut. There's Joe Carter, being abused with a 68 rating. We look at the pitchers available. I would not mind signing Dan Miceli because we could use a lefty. I think he's a lefty, right? No, he's a right-hander. We could use him, but that kind of money is not worth paying for. I never like to pay for relievers in the sim. And Stan Spencer, 75 out of 75, 28-year-old rookie starter. Interesting. Who did he get cut from? Transactions. Padres cut him loose. Interesting. Okay. Well, there's not a lot there to really consider, but I just wanted to show you who is out there. And, there are some players that I would sign if I thought they could help us long term. But all of these players are looking for a one-year deal, even the undrafted free agents. And so that means at the end of the year, at the end of our season, they're going to want a long-term deal at a price above a minimal MLB contract, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, we're not going to sign any of these guys to a long-term deal, even though I think some of them could help us. But so there you go. That's who's available on the free agent market. Let's take a look here at the league leaders, right? There's a lot to look at. I'm very excited to check out all of the stats for the National League because Colorado has a .311 team batting average. They have the top three hitters in the National League. Now, in Baseball Mogul, in my experience of playing this game since 2002 in real life, teams tend to fade, players tend to fade if they have high batting averages in the second half. So I would like to think that Nefi Perez is not going to win the batting championship. Jason Bates, I hope, will not be there. Dante Bichette, I will begrudgingly except if that happens. You see Vina, you see our Pudge, Finley, Brent Main, Cirillo, and Mbappe with John Olerud rounding up the top 10. Look, the top 25 is still batting over 300 in the National League. That's absurd at the halfway point of the season. I've already mentioned a couple of videos ago that in real life, the Colorado Rockies did bat 291 in 1998. They're batting 311 as a team. So they're 20 points above what actually happened in 1998. I assume the game will overcorrect and bring them down to level, but we don't know that for sure. So I just think it's interesting mathematically the way that this game is sort of playing out the season for a team like Colorado, who is third out of 4 teams in the National League West. So we'll see how that plays out. You see everybody here above 300, including Barry Bonds and Vladdy Daddy. There's Mark Grace, who's not going to qualify because he's on the Angels now. Todd Helton from Colorado is right there as well. Okay, so here's our home run leaders in the National League. Vladimir Guerrero on pace for 52, which we've already talked about. I've done the math. We are within a couple of percentage points right around where we should be, considering that with our revisionist history, the whole idea behind this sim, we've taken away 20% of the home run rate in the tools up here. We've already, preseason went to the advanced tools and deducted 20% to make it more like what it should have been if we hadn't had this steroid era. And so we are on pace to have 20% less, which is great. And yet, Vladimir Guerrero might hit 52 home runs, and then Jeff Jenkins at 42, and you can do the math on yourself, just double down with everybody here. So have we overcorrected maybe with negative 20%? That's what the math said is normal for a typical baseball season prior to the steroid era. So we're in that range, but it feels weird to be in 1998 and have the number one hitter only have 26 in the National League. Okay, let's take a look here at the Ribbies. Vladdy Daddy has 70 already, one ahead of Bagwell. You see Matty Will and Mbappe rounding up the top 25. These are all big names. Nobody here that's going to make you clutch your pearls. Roberto Pettigene, not a real hitter, and Ryan McGuire is not a real hitter. But everybody else I think you could get on board with, right? And we'll take a look here at stolen bases, and then we'll go through the other peripheral stats. I mean, Trinidad Hubbard, 37 for 41 at age 34 in his first real everyday lineup opportunity. Delino DeShields, Darrell Hamilton, Bernard, Kilvio, Veras, Marquise, Grissom. I mean, you get the idea. Bernard Gilkey had 3 stolen bases today to give him 13. Otherwise, he was down here with Babe. So he jumped up to 16th. We're not a stolen base team, and that's fine. Okay, let's take a look at all the other batting stats, and then we'll look at fielding as well, and then we'll flip over to pitching. We'll look at the American League very quickly, and then we'll move on. Okay, at bats, I like to look at all this stuff. Darrell Hamilton for Colorado, 304 with Nefi Perez. Darrell Hamilton, that is not Darrell Hamilton. That's Darryl Kyle, I think. So, no, wrong. Okay. Moving on. We have nobody in at bats because we do try to keep everybody healthy. We'll give everybody their days off. Let's take a look at doubles. John Olerud with the Metropolitans. He's got 31 doubles after having 34 last year. Wow. Batting .329. Okay, well, that's something. We have nobody on the top 25. Kevin Young, Cirillo. Anybody in Colorado at all? Nobody. They're all just getting singles. Okay, grounding into double plays. I'm curious. Todd Helton with 24. Nobody in our team. That's weird. Extra base hits. Jeff Jacobs and Ryan Klesko have 40. Matty Williams has 29, and Bobby is at 27. Feel free to pause it if you want a longer look at any of these categories. Let's look at individual positions, fielding-wise. Pudge, that's an abomination. He is right in the middle of the pack. I mean, .991 is a good fielding percentage for any catcher. But this is the premier catcher in all the baseball in the 90s. Yeah, none of these guys are better than Pudge Rodriguez. That's embarrassing. First base. We have a couple. Rubio Durazo, I think he's only got 3 errors. 2 were in one game. That gives him a .994. Travis Lee has played enough in defensive, coming into the game defensively late, that he qualifies. Todd Helton, though, is Gold Glove worthy. Is he a rookie this year? I forget. No, he's in his first full year, though. Okay, second base. We've got Junior Spivey in AAA. By the way, Junior Spivey crushing it in AAA, batting .413 in 75 at-bats since we sent him down. He's got 20 RBI. He had 9 in 150 at-bats in the majors. And he had, he's 5 for 13 in stolen bases. He's 4 for 4 in AAA. But Jason Bates and Mickey Morandini are the 2 best defensively. Let's take a look at third base. Matty Will, right in the middle of the pack. Edgardo Alfonso, pretty good defensive third baseman. Take a look at short. Jay Bell, number 4, can't hit. Playing good shortstop, though. All right. Let's take a look at left field. Am I coming out of left field? It's Bernard Gilkey. Terrible defensively, range-wise, but you know what? Not making a lot of errors. So he deserves a little bit of recognition. Let's take a look at center field. Rob Ryan now. Devon White for us was great. We traded him to the Yanks. He will lose his qualifications, but Mike Warner for Atlanta getting it done. Rob Ryan right in the middle. Good range, but defensively making errors. And Bobby, I don't even know what to do about Bobby. We got to have him in there, but now we could switch him to left field. He's also okay there. I think we started him 1 or 2 games, 1 game, and he made an error there as well. So I don't know what to do. Ignore it, I guess. All right. Cool. Games played. Nephi Perez with 76. Hits. Nephi Perez, 116 hits already. In 304 at-bats, he's batting .382. I mean, he was certainly not that good of a hitter. I really don't know how to explain that. Pudge is number 2, and Bobby is number 13. Okay. Who's been hit by pitch the most? DeLucci, who we traded to Houston in the deal that brought us Hampton, batting .243. Good for him. I'm happy to see that. We got nobody. Home runs we already saw. Intentional walks. Raul Mondesi has 14 intentional walks. Batting .305 with 15 home runs. I wonder who's behind him in the lineup that they walk him so much. All right. Moving along. On base percentage. Jason Bates batting .449. Bobby with .417. 37 walks. That's not going to be among the leaders, but he does find other ways to get on base. Outfield assists. Trinidad Hubbard with 8. Silky with 5. Bobby with 5. Cool. All right. OPS. Barry Bonds. Well, you would expect that. He's walking. He's getting hits. He's batting .300. Good job by him. Okay. Well, I like that. That's realistic. Bobby is there. Pudge. Plate appearances. Jose Valentin. Height. Range factor, we don't care. RBI. Yeah, we saw that already with Vladdy Daddy. Runners thrown out. Pudge does have 23, but Osmus and Levis have 28. What's the percentage? Yeah, Pudge has improved. He's up to 35.4%. Sandy Martinez is almost 50. He's got an 88 arm. How's he getting it done? 48%. I don't know how he's doing it. A catcher that I barely remember. All right, where's their cursor? There it is. Okay. So Pudge is right there. That's fine. Runs scored. Barry, 59. Bobby, 47. Sacrifice hits. We're going to see a lot of pitchers here. Except for Jay Bell, who cannot hit. So we drop it like it's hot. What else we got? Sack flies. Silky Gilkey's got 3. Jason Williams, infielder, rookie. He has 8 somehow. All right, we're almost done here with the batters. Slugging. We got 3 guys. What more could we ask for? Hitting is really not our problem. There's stolen bases. Oh, we already looked at that, but there we go. Stolen bases once again. Success rate. Bobby's, I think he's 10 out of 11. Rob Ryan. Okay. Alan Battle. Hundy. Strikeouts. Who's striking out the most? Melvin Nieves. Scott Samuels. Jeremy Burnitz. These are all, by and large, second-tier hitters. Love that baseball card, though. Probably worth a nickel, but I kind of want it in my collection. It's just a good-looking card. All right. Total bases? 177 for Guerrero. Pudge, Higgy, and Williams all kind of bunched together. Trips. Pudge leading the team with 3. Barry Larkin on Atlanta. Samuels and Ward have 5. Walks. Bobby does make the top 25. Barry Bonds with 60. There are some really big names in here that are walkers. Bob Henley is not one of them. As a rookie, he's walked 48 times. Okay. All right. There you go. All right, so let's take a look here at pitcher stats. We're going to do this quickly. There's wins. Come on. We've got ERA. We've got strikeouts. And we're going to have saves. Wins leader is the rookie, Ted Lilly, 12-2 for Montreal. That's how they're in first place. 27 walks, 121 strikeouts. Looking pretty good. Might be the Cy Young Award winner and the Rookie of the Year. Andy Bennis is 8. Let's take a look at the ERA leaders. Lilly in first. Oral in second. I think he's injured though, right? For a month. And you see some of the other... Only 3 pitchers in the National League under 3. There's Mike Hampton and Andy Bennis qualifying. Cool. And we'll look at strikeouts. Ted Lilly got the Triple Crown. Andy Bennis is right there in 7th. And saves, it's a Billy Wagner and Izzy Osuna and our Felix with 8. Nelly Cruz has 4. He's in the minor leagues right now. Getting a little bit of a break from the majors. All right. That's good enough. Let's take a look at the American League. We'll start with pitchers because we're already here. Randy Johnson of Seattle has 11, and Bartolo and Brett Saberhagen has 10. Let's expand it for those who want to take a look. Okay. Let's take a look at ERA. Randy Johnson, it looks like he's got a Triple Crown going on. ERA, they have 4 in the American League, including Pedro. And in fact, the number 25 is 4.61. So they are giving up more home runs in the American League. Here's the K's. Johnson, Pedro, Finley, Rocket, Timmy, Bartolo, Planet Zito. You get the idea. Some big names in there for strikeouts. And saves. Jeff Montgomery for Kansas City, 3 up on Randy Myers. But these are all big names that are closers. Jeff Sparks, I don't think he was actually the closer for the Rays, but he did have a card for the Devil Rays. All right, and let's take a look at the batters. We'll look at the main categories. We'll do batting average, home runs, RBI, and stolen bases. All right, looks like the Big Hurt leading the American League with a .332 batting average. Now, if you scroll on down, you'll see only 13 batters as of right now are 300 or better. Some pretty good names in there, including Cal Ripken. Wow. That's nice to see. Big Hurt, followed by Will Clark, Cal, David Ortiz, Rusty Greer, Jason Giambi, Knobloch, Mears, A-Rod and Durham, who just got traded to Kansas City. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at home runs. Tony Clark from my Tigers have 21. And then there's Albert Bell, Griffey, Tino, Ralphie, Big Hurt. Geronimo Baroa was on the Moneyball A's in that movie, if you also remember. Canseco. I'm looking at getting a Canseco game used jersey card right now for our next giveaway. There's Wangan, Hoyles, McGriff. There's some big names in there. Okay, and then we'll take a look here at RBI. We have Gonzalez leading with 64. Scrolling on down. There's some pretty big names in there in RBI. Sean Green on Toronto. All right. And we'll finally look at stolen bases, and we'll wrap this up. Here we go. Kenny Lofton and a guy named Jim Bucheri, I don't know. He is a 29-year-old rookie, 27 for 30, with a 62 overall rating, and he is an everyday player. That's bonkers. But really not that many stolen bases. Even Ricky Bericki is number 5. Oh, he got demoted to AAA. I wonder who their left fielder is that's taken over for Ricky Bericki. Let's take a look. Left field without a DH. There we go, with a DH. Is Brian Lesher. That's embarrassing. You're going to give Brian Lesher at bats over Ricky? He's a 74 now, and Lesher's a 77. So rating-wise, the game has made that adjustment, which I have it set to do. But realistically, that would never happen, of course. Okay, guys. Well, I'm not sure what else to look at here. We've already looked at the trade from earlier today with Phil Nevin. And it's me, Mario. He got injured. Headline news, we've covered leaders, we've covered finances, we've covered standings, we've covered. All we have left to do is give away some big prizes tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday in real life, and it's July 1st in our sim. So we will give away some big prizes tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. It's totally free. I pay for the prizes. I pay for the shipping. All you have to do is be a subscriber and let me know in the comments below that you want to enter, and I will add you to the giveaway for tomorrow. It's not too late. So you can get in on that. If you want to donate $5 to the channel by clicking on the thanks button below, I will give you an extra duck for the duck race. 2 ducks for $5. Okay? I think that's fair. And you do have the possibility of winning 2 prizes. We need 2 more ducks to get to 15 total ducks, in which I will add a 5th prize, which I've already mentioned is an Aaron Judge blue parallel card. Okay? So that'll do it for today's video. We'll wrap it up and come back tomorrow for the first day of July and the day in which we'll give away some big prizes. Until then, everyone, have a great day.